That was when we screen recorded. All right, welcome to the Josh and Ben podcast. Today we're going to be talking about what Biz Bros is, what we're about, and let's just get straight into it.
Let's do it.
What is Biz Bros?
You asking me?
Yeah,
So Biz Bros is essentially a e-commerce company that we're starting. We are going to be selling mouth tape, nose strips, and more products to come that may be involved with the fitness industry and in general, just like health industry. So we're starting off with the mouth tape and nose strips, something that you can use to improve your sleep and performance throughout the day. Um, Yeah, so that's kind of what it is. We have some big dreams for it. There it is. There it is. Um, we have some bigger dreams for it, potentially getting into the tech industry as well, being an almost a bro to bros, so that, if you're an entrepreneur or someone who is just focusing on bettering their life, that we can be a partner to you in that, providing you with um,
value.
anything that's needed.
Yeah,
Value, yeah, just like whatever is needed there, a lot needed.
totally. So I think this would be cool if we kind of talked about ourselves a little bit, who we are, what we do, why we think we're qualified to get into this space, why we even want to in the first place. Um, so I guess I can start with that. My name is Ben. I run an online store. I manufacture and sell dog collars on Etsy and on Amazon and a little bit on Shopify, but not too much luck with that yet. And we've done a little over 40,000 sales so far in the past 4 years. And yeah, that's my street cred with entrepreneurship. Started when I was 16. I'm 20 now. And yeah, this is the start of something new. Josh, what
Yeah,
about you?
my name is Josh. I have experience in the tech industry a little bit. I joined a startup uh, about 2.5 years ago. We were essentially developing an app. I'm not a developer. I was just there to be a right-hand man to the co-founder, help with, anything I can. And that led to me coming into the sales side and now in the project management side. So I think that I've had some experience with building out different processes and systems, and I think that that's majority of what I'm bringing to the table. I think that in regards to e-commerce specifically and this space, Ben definitely has the upper hand in the sense of his experience in the industry and selling things and all the knowledge around that. So I'm in for a big learning curve, but I'm super excited to get started. It's gonna be, something that we're gonna focus on and see how we can
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
No, that's true. And I have the exact opposite. I'm terrible at systems and processes and getting all that stuff down, and it's very valuable, especially when starting a business. I think I started mine off pretty sloppy, so I'm excited to actually get this thing off the ground properly,
Yeah,
not
it's gonna be fun.
not winging it the whole time. So it's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
All right. Now that we covered who we are a little bit, let's get into what are we currently doing with Biz Bros? What is our current day to day?
Current day to day with Biz Bros for me right now is looking over the website, seeing what changes could be made, um, and also thinking about potential sponsorships and different things that we could do with podcasts and influencers. So that's kind of my daily thought process right now, trying to dial in the website side and getting ready to launch and essentially just start streamlining all those processes and start working with different companies and whatnot. So that's the thought process these days.
Yeah, pretty much same here, except for less on the website side. I'm just trying to reach out to as many influencers or people that I have connections with, we're really hoping to make a deal with a bigger YouTube channel. I didn't even get in contact with them yet, but they're a friend of a friend. They have over 1 million subscribers, so I'm kind of really gunning for that. And right now, it's just a lot of trying to see what the vision is, like how we're gonna execute. And I think what it's looking like is we're gonna go having a lot the small social media influencer route, having a lot of small social media influencers using our products, and then building our own personal brand. So I'm trying to figure out what the best approach for that would be, what kind of content we should make, and just pretty much how to get the product out there. And I'm looking into new products. I'm developing them right now, trying to see what the next move is, because we want to kick hostage tapes, but that's our goal, to be a direct competitor with them. And their business model is having a bunch of influencers sponsored by them. And so I think it's a very successful one. Same with Gymshark. It's a $1 billion company now, and they use the same model. Biggest Christian clothing brand, I think it's called Whole Strength. They use the same model. They have a bunch of Christian influencers wearing their merch, and you see it everywhere. It's the cross with the barbell.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be our approach. And
Yeah,
what is our goal? Where are we moving towards right now? Like, what's the Q3 going to look like for us? End of
Q3.
Q2, beginning of Q3.
Yeah. So that's coming up here in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Is we are hoping again to dial in everything with the website, get everything ready on the marketing side as well. And as soon as Q2 or Q3 starts, hoping to click the launch button on the website and start selling, start talking to
Slinging
people.
some, yeah,
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see how it starts, how it goes. It's definitely a growing industry. Um, and so far from what I've seen, there's so far from what I've seen, the pe only people who are selling this is Hostage. Haven't seen anyone else sell this.
mainstream at least.
Mainstream, yeah. On the medical side, there's actually a lot of it. So like if you
Yeah,
walk into a um like a CVS or something like that, you're gonna see no strips and mouth tape on the wall. But no one's ever heard of that. And I don't know people who buy it from there.
yeah,
But uh yeah, mainstream, I think we can really push that. So it's gonna be fun.
yep. Yeah, I went around my gym and I stuck these nose strips on people.
Oh,
First of
sweet.
all, very little people know what they are. They might have seen an ad from Hostage, but they're still like, I didn't get it.
Hmm.
I don't get what it's for. Some
Yeah,
guy thought it was just for cleaning your pores in your nose, those type of nose strips. And I'm like, no, put it on. He was like, once your website's up, I'm gonna be the your first monthly subscriber. So
sweet.
pretty exciting. I think to add to our vision, it would be giving tools that people can use, and for it not to just be a money grab. That's our biggest thing. We want to build a brand that people actually trust. And right now, our goal is to gain recognition and build trust.
Yep.
So I want to build a brand that actually is involved with empowering people, with helping people get to the next level. Because I know how difficult it is, even when you've achieved some small, very small form of success. It's still very difficult to keep going, especially with that of having the right tools.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish I started using certain things sooner. And
Mhm.
a lot of the products we're going to be selling is stuff that actually we use day to day.
Yep.
Like I've been using nose strips before we started selling, before we even started really looking into it. They help me breathe a lot. Like I've been using mouth tape before we started selling or before we started looking into the product. I've
Yep.
been doing a lot of these things. Check this out. This is my first jaw trainer. This is another product we're gonna be trying to sell. But Josh, I showed you this before, right?
Yep. Yep.
So this is from gonna be one of our competitors. I'm not gonna really say their name because, why. But straight up, I didn't even use this one that much, and I bit through it. The whole point of a jaw trainer is that you're training your jaw, and I'm assuming you shouldn't be able to bite through it. Anyways,
Maybe you just have a really strong jaw, dude. Maybe it worked.
I wish, I wish. But yeah, Josh, what are your hopes for the next 12 months? Where we're gonna be? Like, what's the vision?
I think hopes for the next 12 months is to understand the customer and really start to see the impacts of working with these influencers. I think that that's going to be a really rewarding thing, like making those relationships and meeting these people and getting the word out there, getting that recognition. Uh, I think in the next 12 months also just building out the systems for streamlining the company as much as possible. So we want to connect you with the product as best and as smooth as possible. So you want X, we provide you with that as soon as possible in the easiest way possible. So make it easy to buy, make it easy to ship, make it easy to do everything. I think the next 12 months, next even 48 months, not 48 months, 24 months, that's going to be a big thing where it's going to be very interesting seeing all those processes in real time and working on, making the customer journey really great.
Yeah,
So that's kind of what I'm seeing next 12 months. Yeah.
it's a pretty
What do you think?
next 12 months. I hope my vision, my dream for Biz Bros is to start having an impact, like for people to start seeing us, for people to
Yeah.
start seeing the product, not us. I don't think our personal brands are gonna grow very much in the first year. I think most of our work is gonna go towards building the brand. But I'm very excited to start learning more. Like we're working on a sales pitch. We're gonna start working on a sales pitch for um influencers, for podcasts, for even possibly physical locations like gyms. So I'm really excited to start getting into that and seeing what it's like trying to sell a product to a
Yep.
company and try to sell product through influencers. So I think the experience is going to be really cool and I'm excited for the challenge. It's
Yeah.
going to be awesome, honestly. Hopefully we sell our first let's be reasonable here, 5,000 items by 2025. That's my hope. Yeah,
Solid
I think
hope.
we could do it. I think we can do it.
Yeah. I think so.
All right. Anything you want, because that's it with the Biz Bros update, what we're about. And we're gonna do this each podcast. We're gonna go over what we're currently doing and what the goal is for the next week, month, and year.
Yeah.
Anything you want to get into?
Um, I don't know. There's obviously a lot in life that's going on.
Yeah.
Um, hmm.
What's the challenge that you've had trying to fit Biz Bros in with personal life and work life? Like you already work a full-time job, you have a kid, you have another kid on the way, and you don't only work 8 hours a day. So how do you squeeze all that in?
I mean, to be totally frank, it's very tough. Um, and I still don't know how to best balance it. Essentially, there's something that's always going to be lacking from what I see, unless you start mixing everything together, which is tough also. So I'm trying different approaches. I'm trying the approach of, set family time, set work time, set Biz Bros time, set, whatever time, myself time, whatever. What that usually equates to is, I have a start time for work, those hours in the evening. We hop on a call here. We're looking at the website. We're meeting with people, and that's where things get interesting because, also you need to spend some time with family in the evening. And I don't know, it's difficult. I found as it's an interesting challenge to be facing. Um, I think that it's something I'll be able to figure out, but I still don't have an exact answer yet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
Definitely. Yeah.
that's pretty tough because for me it kind of flows into what I already do. Like I'm on Alibaba all day dealing with my suppliers for my dog collar, hardware and all of that. So for me to message about, hey, we're working on this design, we're working on this product, let's get it done. It's not a big deal. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't ruin my workflow necessarily or like get in the way of it.
Hmm.
So for me, it's not that big of a shift. I'm already doing e-commerce online stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely not something completely polar opposite to what I'm doing currently. Like for you, you're managing all sorts of jobs and dealing with customers all day. So that's very different. Um, do you think you see Biz Bros replacing your current income? And do you hope that it does?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the hope I have for Biz Bros is for it to add to and replace potentially my income right now, and for it to provide an income for more people. Um, I think that that's definitely a big goal and big dream with Biz Bros is being able to directly impact that, working with a team, um, and having their lives improve as we grow the company. I think that that's going to be a big thing. It's going to be interesting to see how it works in balancing. So far, like I said, it has been possible, to balance, and obviously we're not making anything with Biz Bros yet, so there's no,
Financial
question in
incentive.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, not yet. Um, but it's going to be interesting to see how much time it will take to manage. Um, and we'll go from there. Um, it's gonna be an interesting thing. But yeah, of course, I have high hopes for
Yeah. Okay.
things to come.
I'll get to that other question I have later. I'll put aside. I think same here with like I have very high hopes for it, but that whole I forgot what it's called. Alex Hormozy talks about it all the time. Uninformed optimism, and then there's the pessimism, like everything's just not going good.
Yeah,
And then the informed optimism, right? I forgot how that whole curve works. I should remember that,
yeah,
memorize it. But I've already kind of been through it once with this
hmm,
business specifically. Like, dude, the dream, make money off of selling stuff online. Sounds like such a great idea. I have friends that are doing like, I mean, they have 30, 40 employees. So, I mean, that making stuff and selling on Etsy.
yeah,
So I think that speaks for itself how much they're probably taking home. But you look at that and you're like, oh, psh, I can do that too. And then you start doing it and you do the day-to-day stuff and you realize, dude, it's a lot more work and it's a lot harder than it looks. So for me, I like having that experience because I know already what's ahead, how much work it's going to take, and the discouraging times is when it matters the most that you're working. When you're having a good day and you know, let's say you hit best sales, so easy to keep going. It's so easy to have motivation to work. But when you're barely making enough to pay the bills, that's when it gets tough. But that's when it matters the most that you're pushing. So I'm really
yeah,
like excited to start getting through those times because I know I'm able to do that and I've done it before. So I'm like super excited to get there, I think. And yeah, having employees is so cool, dude. Being able to cut a check and once in a while be generous is like awesome. It's such a good feeling, like knowing that you're able to provide for somebody, at least be partially responsible for that. Like that's really cool. But then it puts a bigger responsibility. You're like, hey, I got to make sure these people have a job tomorrow. So that like gives you a reason to wake up and get stuff done. So I think it's a really cool experience to have. Not a lot of people get to do that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
That's for
pretty
sure.
awesome.
Hmm. Interesting thought.
If you had the opportunity to go and win the lottery, like 100%, you're gonna win if you go get a Powerball ticket. Would you do it?
Hmm. Would I
And
go?
if yes, why? And if not, why?
So if I had the opportunity,
You're gonna win $100 million. Like if you go get a lottery ticket, there's 100% chance you're getting 100 million. Would you do it? They're just gonna hand you $100 million check.
would I do it?
Would you take it? Yeah,
Hmm. Well, what's the catch? I don't understand the
no
catch.
catch. I'm serious. Like if somebody just offered to hand you a
So
hundred million dollars from winning the lottery, like you knew that there's a certainty that you're gonna win. I don't know why I can't word this properly, but you get what I'm saying.
I do. So
If when you're driving on the freeway and you see it says like some crazy billion-dollar number, 100 million, 200 million,
yeah,
you ever think like, what would I do if I won? Or would I want to win?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I think my initial reaction is, without digging into it, of course, I'm gonna go and cash the ticket or whatever I can. Um, but at the same time, I've never bought a ticket before, like a lottery ticket.
okay.
So
I don't
I don't
think
know.
that's not the issue. Let's just rephrase this. Let's not make it the lottery. If somebody just handed you 100 million, would you take it?
Someone handed me $100 million, would I take it? I'd probably say yes. And I would immediately, I would immediately put it out of my own reach, probably.
Hmm, that's
I'd
very
have an,
interesting.
I'd have enough to, I'd have it like, you'd set it. I would, I would really think about setting it up in a way where I can have enough to survive and live. 100 million is a lot of money. So
Of course.
if you put that in the, if you put that in the bank, you can have, I don't know the exact math, but you could have like, I think close to 100,000 in dividends if you put it into the stock market.
100 million, brother. That's from $1 million pretty much.
100,000.
10% of a million is 100,000.
Well, if you're getting 10% dividends, that's really high.
Well, if the S&P 500 over time on average has brought back 10% returns.
Yes, over time. Yeah. Yeah.
So you can
So
count on getting $1 million, if not a little less a year.
a year, yes, I'm thinking monthly.
Oh,
So
monthly. Yeah,
right
yeah.
about monthly. So 100 grand would be right about that, what you're getting monthly.
Okay, that makes
Um,
sense.
I would be thinking in those measures. I'd be thinking like, how can I put this away so that it starts working for me right away?
Okay.
At least that's where my mind's at right now. That's what I've, I guess, learned
You know,
briefly. Although I don't have $100 million in my hand. I don't know. I might just go crazy.
do you want to know what my answer is?
Yes.
I would
What is your answer?
never take it, and I've thought about this a lot, like a lot. I'm serious. It's such a weird thing that I spent a lot of time thinking if I was handed 100 million, a billion, doesn't matter, even a million, I wouldn't take it. It's a little different if it's like an investor, here's $1 million. I'm saying just free money, no strings attached.
Yeah.
Why? I would never be able to prove to myself that I could make it to a certain level of success if I immediately was handed it. I don't have, I can't ever, people won't look at me first of all like, oh, this guy made it. He's successful because, he worked hard. I want to know what it takes to get to that level, and I want to see the person that I become getting there because
Yeah.
I don't want that shortcut. I mean, I want it, like it would be really sick, but at the same time, I feel like I would become a person that can handle that type of money if I had to work for it. If I was just
Yeah.
handed it, just like when you hand a random homeless guy $1,000, he's probably just gonna go blow it on something.
Mhm.
Even if he's not a druggie. Let's say this homeless guy is homeless because he made poor financial decisions.
Yep.
If you hand him a lot of money, he's just gonna do something stupid. So I don't
Yeah.
think I would be able to handle myself with that type of money. And I really want to see if I can actually do it myself.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that I would ever feel any sort of accomplishment or value as like an entrepreneur, I guess. But at the same time, You can look at it like, well, my family's set for life, no matter what.
It depends on what the goal is.
Yeah.
And I think that you have what you're talking about is having a goal, and it's very honorable where your goal isn't the dollar amount. Your goal is the person you become to reach that dollar amount. And I think that that's where a lot of people get lost. So there's like that quote where it says, um, aim for making $1 million a year, not for making $1 million a year, but for who it will make you become.
Yeah.
So like getting there, like if you start thinking about how do I solve $1 million problems a year, it's hard to grasp, especially if you're not solving that kind of those kind of problems right now. But yeah, when you start talking about hundreds and stuff, that's insane. I
The
agree.
scale is it's massive.
Very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. And of course, I'm not throwing shade on people that would take the money. That's a personal, like, that's just how you think. For me,
Yeah.
I've legit put so much thought into it. Like, I just can't see myself being in any way, shape, or form okay with having that type of money without have
That's
earning it.
yeah, that's interesting. I was thinking about like I was like saying, what's the catch? Thinking about the catch. And the catch to the question is you are potentially losing yourself. You're potentially losing yourself to this money now. Because now you probably don't have a drive. If money is motivating you, you can lose the part of you that will become someone.
Yeah. Money's always the motivation if you think about it, though. For a man, like, you gotta put food on the table. You gotta provide for your kids, which I don't have yet, but God willing, soon. If you have all that money, first of all, I feel like you have a much more difficult time trusting God.
With
Like,
money?
yeah, if you have so much immediately, like, it
Yeah.
still takes so much work to grow a business to a degree where there's actually a lot of money. It takes a lot of trust in God, like a
Yeah.
ton, because He says He'll provide, right? So we gotta, the focus is pretty much no shortcuts for me, even if I'm handing them. I think investment's very different. If someone handed us $1 million to get 10% of Biz Bros, heck, 50, you know, I'll say yes, because there's risk with that always, and
Yeah.
it's not free. So, yeah.
Interesting. So you wouldn't mind the money, you would mind it if it was free. So like for example, if someone did come in with like $1 million investment and their standards for us were all of a sudden super high and our output needed to be super high, that'd be more fun and it would be easier to say yes to than just saying, hey, here's $1 million.
Yeah,
Go.
I wouldn't take a million no catch. A million is a lot, but when it
Yeah,
comes to a business, a million's not that much. But just
yeah,
having $1 million in your bank, that's insane. Like the fact I say a million isn't a lot for a business is because I see how much goes into a business and I'm on
yeah,
a very small scale. And I even go through a couple hundred grand a year just spending on stuff. And so $1 million is like a level up from where I am
yeah.
when it comes to so yeah, I would take $1 million for a business investment. The thing is there are always strings attached.
Hmm.
And those strings is what keeps you like, first of all, if you got to a point where someone's offering you $1 million for your business, you already worked your butt off. So I don't think that's very free, you know.
Yeah.
Very rare, I'm sure somebody gets $1 million undeserved, like as an investment. There's
Hmm.
always like you came up with the idea at least. That's the thing with like lottery, you don't have any,
Hmm.
and you didn't come up with the idea, nothing. You just got money handed to you.
Yeah.
At least even with a business idea, you came up with it. You put something into it.
Hmm. That's interesting. That's an interesting thought process. Thinking about it with a catch. Most people want no catches.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
That's just like there's no responsibility on your end at that point. Then it just takes it like, there's this thing where my parents always said like if we just gave you a car you wouldn't appreciate it as much. Or if we just gave you this and you didn't earn it,
Yeah.
you wouldn't care about it that much. You wouldn't value it because you didn't put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. Like you didn't work hard. So it's like, I think it goes the same for everything. You're not going to appreciate it if you didn't put work into it.
Yeah,
Like
that's for
imagine
sure.
getting to 100 million, dude. What that would take. It's nuts. Like I can't even comprehend it. It's a lot of leverage, but to get to a
Yeah.
point to have leverage,
To even
years,
have leverage.
decades. Yeah, to have any leverage. Like I feel like the first 10, 15 years in business, what I'm seeing people do is spending time, just as an example, building that just the lever that you can pull a lot more weight with. They're just spending years building connections, networks, people that, I have a guy for this, I have a guy for that. So that way you're not putting your time into it. And that takes decades to get
Yeah.
to that level. But yeah, I'm all out of questions.
A lot of
Hope they were
questions.
okay.
No, that was really good. I think that's really interesting. Um, that's definitely intrigued me, and I want to think about that a bit more. Um, hmm.
A lot of nuance to that conversation though, because you can go down so many routes saying, well, isn't it kind of selfish of you to want to have your name behind something? Like you could provide for so many people, you can fix a lot of problems with that money. So then
Yeah.
there's that. Is it just pride?
So I think that it comes down to the person that you already are also. Because like for me, my first thought was, okay, I need to get this out of my own hands and have it just
Yeah.
whatever increments I can receive from it. Perfect. Um, I think that it comes down, and that's probably flawed. I don't think that that's the wisest thing to do with that money. Like, I think that someone who's been through more obviously will have a better understanding of what to do with it. And I think the closer you become to that person, the better you start to understand of like, oh yeah, 100 million XYZ, this is where it goes. Um, but yeah, that's a
I
wild
think you'd
number.
be at a certain level though, because look, if someone handed me 100 million, heck, even like 10 million, dude. With a million, I'll know what to do. 100 million, brother, I would literally run and scream because I don't know what to do with that. That's such a big level. Like, let's say someone like Patrick Bet David, brother, he knows what to do. He built $100 million business. He's like shifting money here, investing it into here, da 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 da. I think you have to be at the level,
Yeah,
like he says, the market will never pay you more than you're worth,
I love it.
unless you win the lottery, I guess. So I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Well, sweet. Let's close this one out. We have a little less than a minute. I think that
Yeah,
let's come back to it with that thought. The money or the market will never pay you more than what you're worth.
awesome. Let's do it. All right. It was
Sounds
good,
good.
guys.
Mm-hmm.
Later.